Chiefs Broncos, an update on Patrick Mahomes all right now on Good Morning Football. Come on in, it's Friday. We're hanging out October 18th, getting you set for an exciting slate of action. Russell Wilson versus Lamar Jackson. We've got the Saints going up against the Bears. It'll be a good one.
Cowboys, Eagles, hello.
Oh, the Sunday
Talk
night.
about it.
A lot of pad thai, a lot of beer, a lot of pizza, a lot of highlights. Right now, Kyle.
Let's go to this game. This one got complicated, guys. As we know, Patrick Mahomes dealing with an ankle injury going in. He was loosening it up before the game on the field. Fist bumps for Andy Reid, and he got off to a good start. He threw a touchdown. The Chiefs were up. Everything seemed to be going fine. But we're going to go right to the second quarter with the Chiefs leading 10-6. It's a 4th and 1. They go with the quarterback sneak. They get it. But immediately something's wrong with the MVP. Try to help him up. He doesn't want to get up. The player reactions start pouring in because Mahomes is down. The helmet is off. He's holding the head. And you start wondering, how bad is this? Is it anything? Is it severe? We're going to look at the close-up. There's a lot of traffic. You do see some lateral knee movement here. None of us are doctors. There was a lot of amateur doctors out last night, but Mahomes getting the handshakes from the Broncos and the Chiefs. He refused to get on the cart, Andy Reid said, and then as he hit the sideline, trying to get the crowd up and started to look like he was walking normally, but, guys, dislocated patella being the kneecap, who await an MRI determined the ligament damage. In the meantime, in the game, Steve Spagnuolo's defense, not been good. Are they blow this game? Hell no. They put on a show last night. 9 sacks for the Chiefs defense. They forced fumbles. They had a defensive score. They forced a whole bunch of holding penalties. With the MVP out, this defense was incredible. I mean, incredible. And enter Matt Moore. He's a guy who you would put in the backup quarterback Hall of Fame. He's been around forever. You've seen him with Miami and Carolina. And he comes off the bench with really no reps, no practice, and goes right to Tyreek, and it's a touchdown. Goodbye. See you later. We're going to get into Matt Moore because Matt Moore may play a role in the AFC this season, a big one, out of nowhere. Came in, played well. He's a professional. And then there is Mahomes. Locker room after the game. There's a smile. There was an optimistic tweet. And there's a huge lopsided score, 30-6. But, guys, this one was about the quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs. The teammates afterwards, of course, talking about it. Let's hear from a bunch of them, including Mecole Hardman, who was great last night on his quarterback after the game.
I mean, we seen him come in here, everybody like, oh, hey, and but we didn't get to no details like that. We just happy to see him, man, on his feet walking, and we'll figure out later on how severe it is and just go from there.
We ain't trying to, we ain't want to like just crowd him and stuff, you know what I'm saying? We just tell him we can't wait for him to get back and get well soon.
He's in a good place. I mean, he was in a good place on the field when it happened. Grimace, our doc was phenomenal and just calming everything down. Dr. Schreppel, he just kind of calmed the storm right there, and Pat was good. Felt very comfortable with him. He refused to get in that cart. We're good. Whatever direction this thing goes, we'll be good. We got to work hard and do our thing, and then you trust whoever's in there. You roll with it.
Chiefs, they roll and snap a 2-game losing streak. Patrick Mahomes did tweet later last night after the game, awesome team win. Love my brothers. Thank you for all the prayers. Everything looking good so far. This is one of the most watchable players in the NFL, the reigning MVP. Let's get an update on what's going on with Patrick Mahomes from Ian Rappaport at Rap Sheet joining us right now. What's the latest on the Chiefs quarterback?
And my understanding is Patrick Mahomes does, in fact, have a dislocated kneecap, as James Palmer, who was on the scene last night, told us pretty quickly thereafter. That is the facts of what we know right now. He's also going to get an MRI later today to determine ligament damage. And look, you guys saw it as everyone did. It looked like a dire situation on the field, as bad as it could be. Pretty quickly thereafter, though, optimism came. I talked to several people involved in this situation. The view right now is that Patrick Mahomes is expected to miss about 3 weeks pending the results of the MRI. If the MRI come in and show that there's severe ligament damage, obviously it could be more, it could be much more. No one knows for sure, but this was a telling response from a source in the know last night. This was it, guys. About as good as it could be. That right there tells you a lot about where the Chiefs and those associated with Patrick Mahomes are right now heading into the MRI today.
He'll have some time to rest. They've got the Packers at home, the Vikings at Arrowhead. Then they travel to take the Titans 4 weeks from now. Would be a matchup in their division against the Chargers. Thank you so much, Ian Rappaport, for the optimistic latest on Patrick Mahomes. More highlights and fallout just ahead on GMFB. It was a hard scene to watch last night. There's players who leave the field in the game. It just feels empty from there on out, right? It felt like that. What did you make of that in the timeline?
Yeah, so I was talking to people in the Chiefs organization last night, as was Ian, and this morning still. They didn't sleep. A lot of those guys are in the facility right now, the Chiefs front office brass. That's how sick they are to their stomach. But there is an optimism to what Ian is saying. And look, last night on Twitter, maybe everyone initially declared him out for the year and all that stuff. That wasn't the case. They went in, they had the MRI in there in the stadium with the X-rays. But that stadium stuff, it's almost initial stuff. You need to go to an actual hospital and do that. And attached to Arrowhead is the University of Kansas Medical Center, and that's where they're going to do the test today. Okay. It's happening at 12 p.m. Central. This is the most important test of all of the season. Like, this is it. And Ian's saying 3 weeks, that's the most optimistic thing. 3 weeks means he's good. Look at him. He's in good spirits. He's walking. Everything's okay. But if there's ligament damage, to which Ian alluded to, if there is ligament damage, we could talk for a significantly longer injury. The hope here is that there's not ligament damage. It's the kneecap K, and that he's going to be back, and they're going to be all right, and this season can keep on going. But I can tell you, the ups and downs for not only the fans at home, which was natural when you see a player like that in tears, and then from after the game, where, wait a second, it might be so, to now being like, all right, this test is everything. We shall see. But 12 p.m. Central Time today. Everyone get to your phones. We should have results today. Okay. We should know.
All right. Yeah, you mentioned the season continue to move forward. You know, that's exactly it. They have to keep going. Unfortunately, I've been in this situation before, not just me being injured, but having my starting quarterback going down. And there's two ways you can handle it. You can take your playbook and literally crumble it up and toss it over your shoulder. Or you can say, you know what, we have the skill set, the wide receivers, tight ends, and running backs that can help whoever is the backup quarterback. In my opinion, I say keep the game plan. The teams that I've been on where the coaches panic, the team panics, and they change everything because the talented quarterback goes down, that's when your season goes in the opposite direction. The best chance for the Chiefs to be successful is keep everything the same. And I know that's hard because you're saying, Nate, it's Pat Mahomes. He's a prolific passer. That's our MVP. I understand that. But when you shake up everything, you toss that playbook out, not only do you disrupt the flow of the offense, but the skill players that are the go of this team, they're all of a sudden saying, okay, well, where do I fit in all of a sudden? You're telling me you're changing it? We're not throwing the ball as much as we used to? We're going to just abandon everything that we've built up to this point? So keep everything the same.
Yeah, as best as you can. I had a couple takes from last night. As far as the football, there is a take out this morning that maybe Andy Reid should not have run the MVP into the pile for quarterback sneak, and that is a terrible, terrible take. It is actually one of the safest plays in football. Andy Reid had to face questions about it afterwards. He probably will face more questions today. They got struck by lightning, guys. It's an absolute freak thing. We see Tom Brady do it. We see everybody do it. That's not a thing. The quarterback should not have run the quarterback sneak. It's stupid. Secondly, there's a lot of optimism about, well, he waved off the cart and he walked, and after he started walking for a while, it started to look like himself. Be very careful judging this based on the walk-off or not using the cart. I have a vivid memory of Carson Wentz walking off the field at the LA Coliseum, and he looked fine. He looked like himself. He's out for the year. A lot of times, these guys feel fine, and they're handshaking and doing high fives and everything. You get to the MRI that says it's actually really bad. And I also think it was a terrible night for Twitter last night.
Talk about it.
Absolutely irresponsible.
Blue check mark.
Terrible.
Everyone's a doctor.
It's one thing for just eggs and morons to see. There's media members saying, he's done. This looks terrible. Do you need to tweet that? Like, you have no idea. And I was getting annoyed about it because what we do is very personal to us. This is the MVP of our league, and we have media members who all of a sudden are doctors just saying, Mahomes is done, this looks
ACL,
awful.
MCL.
Literally, there is a doctor on the field named Laurent Duvernay-Tardif on the Chiefs who was right there, and he said, Patrick was saying, it's out, it's out. Nobody understood what he meant at the time. Then we panicked a little, and we didn't know everything was all right. If Sam Darnold gets mono, and you got mono in college, go ahead and weigh in on it. But otherwise, maybe just don't tweet, because to come to find out, it's maybe not as bad as we think. Let's hope.
And that test is at noon today. If he does optimistically miss several weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, if this defense came to play, I was so beyond impressed. You know, people were talking about their effort, calling them soft. There was a lot of talk about Frank Clark not showing up and doing, I mean, they were amazing. They held Phillip Lindsay, who everybody across the board, there wasn't a person on board with they're going to bottle up Phillip Lindsay. They held the entire Broncos offense to 71 rushing yards. Incredible performance by them. They were able to run the ball. If they can galvanize like that, why can't they do what Teddy Bridgewater is doing with the Saints in the meantime?
I think they've been hearing people calling them
Oh,
terrible.
yeah, absolutely.
I also wonder if it's a coincidence that, you see your MVP quarterback go down and then you get the fire and be like, let's go. But they put on a show last night, that defense.
We'll have to talk about the
Shout out
Broncos.
to
Where
that
was
Chiefs
Von Miller?
defense.
I don't know.
No
Tough night
idea.
for them.
More highlights up ahead. Will the Cowboys have Amari Cooper this weekend? If not, what should they do against these Eagles? It's your Sunday night game. We've got your Mad Minute, your previews.